lose. Now I'm not the one confused. Call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now. Y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now. I'm gonna make you bleed out. Listen on repeat now and weed out all the weak now. Get up.
Okay, you're on.
Hooray. Let's do the share thing. Button. Share.
You know, I forgot. Grab that microphone.
Yeah. I forgot that too.
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll throw this one over here.
2 whole humans, got a Red Bull.
Oh, yeah. Okay, even better. Another light. Where's the switch for this?
It's on the cord.
Yeah, I see it. It's not plugged in though.
Okay.
All right, we got 4 people on. What's up? What's up, everybody?
Man.
What we got on?
I don't even know right now. Miss Seal?
No,
That's not Mickey.
Not Mickey.
Basically, anytime you see me now, it's with Clack. Mickey's got other commitments that he runs around and does during our time slots. Shit.
Can y'all hear? Am I on? Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear Clack?
Yo. Okay, I'm on 30. Yeah.
I can't math. So, God,
You good, Miss Hill?
I got a text message yesterday, and it was kind of trippy. Give me a second to find it.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, right. I could go for a burger after this. Text message reads, "This is State Representative Cynthia Neely. I'd like to take a moment to recognize today's significance. A decade ago, this very day, Flint switched the city's water source away from Lake Huron to the Flint River. Flint is resilient and strong, and for the last 10 years, we've been fighting. The water crisis is an unbelievable burden on our people and community. We are still working to rebuild and address the unimaginable consequences of this nightmare. In my role as state representative, I will continue my work to improve Michigan's drinking water. Just this winter, my bill, along with its companion Flint First bill, became law, requiring water filtration systems to be installed in all schools and child care centers. It is important that we work on all levels to ensure Michiganders have safe, accessible water sources. My work continues for the community and our future generations."
What work?
What work, indeed. Took a look into those bills. She was the co-sponsor.
I couldn't even say it fast enough. That doesn't even sound like the mayor. Somebody writes that.
Nah,
of course.
That's a PR specialist.
Of course.
I think the PR specialist, though, must be from out of town and out of state. Whoever wrote that, it's not Cynthia, obviously. It's not Sheldon. And whoever did write it is from out of town and out of state.
Why you figure that?
Because they somehow conveniently forgot that the fact that the water was poisoned was in large part due to the KWA board, which Sheldon Neely is a part of. Well, and Sheldon Neely voted yes for it as soon as he got onto the board. He was voting no prior. He got on the board. He voted yes. And then during the water crisis, as it happened, 2014, the man went from city council to state rep, and he threatened to have protesters arrested. People talking about the water. Threatened to have them arrested. The KWA has been the Neely family's biggest moneymaker since he has been on the board. More than being mayor, more than being state rep, more than her being state rep. This family has made more money off of the pure human suffering that Flint has gone through over the past 10 years. And it's still not done. In the time that the Flint water crisis has happened, I was in the Army, exited the Army, moved to Texas, moved here, rejoined the Army as the National Guard, broke my back, and fought for 100% disability for myself to today. That is 2/7 of my life. This is an unmitigated failure of governance and of human compassion. When it's time or money, that is one thing. When it's people's actual lives who are being shortened through cancer, through Legionella, through heavy metal poisoning, that is something else entirely different. It has been 10 years. We still don't have our pipes done.
Mm-hmm.
That was proven yesterday by Art Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the mayor says it's done, they just got hit with another contempt of court for not completing their responsibilities in the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had the gall to come out and say he's completed it. Last I checked, they were about 1,000 houses behind.
I thought it was like 1,500, but
yeah,
it's more than a few. So yeah.
And they can only hire 1 or 2 contractors at a time because no one wants to work for the city of Flint. W.T. Stevens proved that when the city of Flint, being the mayor, withheld their payment. Why would any other contractor want to come work for a city that'll withhold your payment? So now they've got small 2-3-man crews trying to do it, and they're trying to say that they got 1,500 houses done in just a few months. Hell, even if they're trying to say they got 300 houses done in just a few months, I'd be calling bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget everything else that he has done with this water settlement or with this water crisis. The settlement. This is the floor, not the ceiling. You should settle. When you settle, you say you're done. You'll take what they offer.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this floor is rather low. I can't even see the light right now. And then more stipulations came onto that. $1,000 per household, only paying the kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How many old folks have died because of this? How many folks our age have died because of this? There's nothing coming for them.
Nothing.
The state is not going to pay for their funeral cost. The state's not going to pay for the lost wages that family now has to make up. Old people now, well, I'll say people of age now have disabilities for a lifetime that they won't be getting paid for. Yeah, you can go SSI, but that only pays out what you've put in. It brackets. So if you were only 23 by the time that your liver started failing, you're living off of $200-300 a month and you can't work.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Hold on.
The Flint water crisis has changed everything. The nation uses Flint as a watchword for keep your water clean. Several cities haven't followed that, but for the most part, after Flint, you saw a slew of legislation from local, state, and federal, nationwide, to make sure that the water infrastructure was up to date. Everyone has benefited from the Flint water crisis except for Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Politicians came here, got their picture taken, got elected. Celebrities came here, got their picture taken. They ended up getting new roles or whatever because they got their name back out there. Hell, even the news networks who came in here just to film our suffering had a boost in ratings, and everyone sitting at home watching it on the TV, well, they got entertainment. And then they got the reaffirmation, well, at least it's not me. Everyone in the country benefited but us.
Still is.
Still is. Everyone's now, unless you happen to be in, say, East Palestine, but that wasn't really a fuck up of infrastructure. That's a train derailing with bad shit in it.
Oh, you mean Ohio?
Ohio.
Right.
East Palestine,
right,
Ohio.
Right.
Or several small cities. Most of the country now has access to clean drinking water because they saw what happened in Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Those families benefited.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, still begging for our pipes to be fixed. The amount of money that was dumped into Flint is damn near criminal. Why? Because nothing got done with it. Yeah. It got spent on frivolous contracts. It went into the stupidest things. Hell, U of M, University of Michigan Flint came up with a model based on when houses and when streets were laid to tell you exactly which ones were the most likely to be made out of lead. That was ignored, and they decided to rip up every yard. Instead of being fast and efficient, they needed to spend money. That money now is gone, and we have no way of fixing those pipes now because the city's actual budget can't do it. The city subsists off about $23 million a year. Half of that goes to our police department, which is hardly used.
No, they get good usage
at city council meetings.
Yeah, and Uber and taxi rates or whatever. But yeah, no, I'd like to comment on that text message that you shared. This is just me, and I'm a human being first, so I got feelings and I got emotions and everything like that. But this is the gall that it would take somebody to say that they would continue fighting when your husband is the very reason why we're in this mess.
Yeah.
The gall of someone to say, I'm going to continue to fight for you all in this water, but we still have high.
She's benefited from it. They are now millionaires because of the money from the KWA. How much fighting is she really doing?
None. If you look at, I left my bag in the car because I've been doing research. Because at some point we're gonna have to debate and I, or
if she shows up,
right. But I've just been looking at every single committee that she sits on. There's instead of that committee, or instead of whatever it is benefiting her hometown, we get the worst end of the stick. She's the chair of the tax committee. She's on the technology, energy, and something. And then I'm looking at our energy rates are about to go up again. You know what I mean? Like they went up last year. And then I started doing more digging because I saw that our state rep she was answering questions. I saw Bishop Jefferson ask a question, and it was basically talking about our power outages. So I started reading and digging, and I found out that Michigan's got the second highest power outage in the nation, behind Texas.
Yeah,
but Texas has got 3 times the people and 4 times the land. So you would expect Texas to have
Texas
more.
has been trying to use wind and solar power, which when it works, it works. When it doesn't, you get rolling brownouts and blackouts.
But also, Texas has 1 million energy companies too.
Oh yeah,
unlike Michigan, but we only have
3.
3.
You got the DTE, one in the UP. You got DTE
consumers
and consumers.
Yeah, so they can charge whatever the hell they want to charge.
It's a legal monopoly.
Yeah, right. So I was looking in there's been 100 and I don't know, I forget the exact number, but over 120, I think it's 130 or something like that, power outages in the past 30 years or 20 years. And what the article that I was looking at, one of the articles said that basically, unlike Ohio and Indiana, both being Republican states, correct? Right? Both being our neighbor states and both having similar weather to ours, right? The difference is those 2 states put money in their grid infrastructure, electrical grid infrastructure, whereas Michigan does not. So we've got
when traveling through those, keep an eye on the sides of the roads. You won't see too many power cables. They run them underground.
Is that fiber optic or is this?
That's just regular power cables running underground so they don't get blown around or hit by trees or X, Y, and Z. Metal fatigue when they're swaying back and forth will rip them eventually off the towers.
Right.
That makes
sense.
Simple and cheap fix that Michigan won't do. And our state rep hasn't even thought of it.
Well, I don't even think that she...
Interesting.
I just think that there's so many different things that, even the tax, she chairs the tax committee. Are our taxes not going up?
They are.
So if you would think that instead of the smiles and the waves, it would be more, what are we doing here? My people can't afford this. I'm from Flint. We've struggled enough. We need some type of break. We need, you need to listen to what we got going on. You know what I mean? I don't see that happening. I haven't seen that. All I see is smiles and yes and yes, and there's not, even with the question that are answered, they're not really answered. You know what I mean? Like,
with the hardships that the city's gone through, most people believe that with a certain amount of hardship, you're going to catch a break eventually. And we haven't.
mm-hmm.
Our power prices are going up. Our water is still fucked. Our taxes are going up. Now they're targeting kids, driving around in their brand new cars, getting excited. Okay, they can't pay for that. Hell, they can't pay for when their car gets impounded. So the city's just going to take it away and they're going to auction it, make more money like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a constant run through of how can people make money off the people of Flint.
Mm-hmm.
And while it started well before the water crisis brought an eye here. They were thinking that the folks of Flint wouldn't say anything. They'd be poisoned for a little while, and then they could quickly switch it and have a smaller blip on the radar. We found a problem. We fixed it. KWA is doing fine. We unfucked it.
Hmm.
Instead, it blew up in their faces.
Mm-hmm. RJ.
Poppycock. Yeah, it blew up in their faces, and it turned into a nationwide, almost a global phenomenon. Water for Flint, fix Flint. And it's brought scrutiny here that they were not ready for. Ever since the water crisis, people have been watching Flint. That is how Flint City Council got to be known. It was, before Eric Mays was doing things on TikTok and stuff, people were still looking up the city of Flint City Council and seeing where the money was being spent because they wanted to know where those federal dollars were going from the WIN funds and from the grants and the checks that celebrities wrote. They wanted to see how it was being done. And they saw unmitigated failure. Then came the ARPA funds. And once again, they looked at Flint. Why? Well, one, we had already been turned into a national experiment, national show.
Mm-hmm.
And two, we had one of the highest payouts per capita.
Mm-hmm.
And people wanted to know where their tax dollars are going nationally from around the country. Mm-hmm. Some smaller cities that could use some help because they're older, but everyone works out of town, so they have a higher income bracket, got far less per capita. I'm
mm-hmm.
talking half the money per person.
Mm-hmm. Even those, the school district too, because we got a lot of ESSER funds because mm-hmm. of our situation. So a lot of the other school districts were like.
So yeah, everyone was looking at us to see where that money was going, and they saw once again unashamed corruption. Mm-hmm. People stashing money, hiding money, moving it toward nonprofits, which I talk about all the time. For the most part, to me now, 501c3 nonprofit is a dirty word.
I'm scared to even mention that I have one. I ain't even,
Like, and again, yours hasn't applied for funds and then paid out your friends. But on the majority mm-hmm. around here, it's just another word for money laundering. They did it with the water crisis. Oh, give me a grant so I can go buy water to bring to Flint. And then you see cases upon cases of water abandoned, sometimes in schools, yep. sometimes in abandoned homes, sometimes just on the side of the road.
It were pallets and pallets and
yes.
pallets that were thrown in Northern and then, some of those other schools that are closed up. So, yeah, that's.
Literally, when I moved here 2016, they were still doing water pods. You still had to go, pick up cases. And we should still be doing them, but the city killed that.
I thought the state killed that.
No, the city
killed it?
Yeah, the state cut its funding, so the city cut its funding. It was a compound effect, chain link.
Okay.
But the city, having being residents of here, supposedly, should know the water's not clean. Hey,
that's what
we should still keep up our portion of it.
Yeah, we live here. We know. Yeah.
So 2016, I'd drive down to Kroger, X, Y, and Z. I'd see signs on restaurants. We have Detroit water.
How do you have Detroit water and like it skips all around, and you have Detroit water,
right? But how pathetic is that? That a city and its businesses are advertising just to get business where their water comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Something that most of the world takes for granted. And as I drive to Kroger, go pick up groceries, come back home, I'd see pallets or cases of water just thrown on the side of the road
Mm-hmm.
from crooks and criminals who would take a paycheck, get the water from the water pod, and say they're delivering it to people and just throw it on the side of the fucking road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's been a systemic problem for over a decade. Many of our viewers here have grandchildren. This problem started before their grandchildren, some of their grandchildren were born, and will run until they're well into their teens at the pace we are going now.
Yeah, that's Flint Township is what Carmen Hills now. They didn't want to be associated with Flint.
Yeah, they voted. I think the vote failed, but there was a vote to change their name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just hope that people. I mean, I know people are fed up, but it's like people are just like, even the people are got Flint fatigue. You know, it's like why should I keep on coming down there and saying whatever and ain't nobody doing nothing. You know, they're stealing, they're getting their money. You know, why should we keep on fighting? Let's just go to work and continue to exist. You know,
I mean, this morning we had one of our hardest fighters for Flint on the morning bump,
mm-hmm.
and he doesn't even live here. The man lives in New York,
Jersey, but
yeah, right. I had the pleasure of meeting him last month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Cold and rainy. Nice guy.
Yeah, I like him.
He's definitely short spoken, so he always speaks fast. At first, I thought he was irritated. No, that's just him. Okay.
Yeah, that's the East Coast people.
Yeah, I don't like the East Coast, but he's been fighting for us here. We have people from all around the country that are more invested in fixing Flint than many of the people in Flint. Some of our biggest names, community leaders around here, were actually fighting for us to use the river.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, AC Dumas at City Council.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice speech he gave there. And then turns around and has said that he's been fighting against that the entire time. The people here either given up or have found ways to exploit it for their own personal gain. There are very few actually still fighting, and I can understand it. After so long of being in a tunnel, when you see the damn light at the end of it, you might think it's a damn train. It is one of the worst things that has ever happened to this country. I would put it up there about the same level as 9/11. Why? Because we did this to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then to hear yesterday, I believe it is yesterday with Art, how they were saying that some of our kids' disabilities are more psychosomatic and placebo effect.
This is not Mickey. This is Clack. This leaves.
Yeah, basically, guys, if you see me on, it's with Clack because Mickey's got appointments in these time slots.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Steers? How you doing?
There's my friend Bruce. He's the one that pointed me toward a lot of the history and the 501c3s being,
Mm-hmm.
more criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I?
You good? I'm just playing, but it is Clack though.
Right. We I had lost my train of thought, man. But no, we've had so much happen here in such a short amount of time, and we can't get it right. I don't know how I'll ever trust water again. Oh, I was talking about the kids. There we go. So, as I'm moving, shut up, phone. No one cares about you. As I'm moving, I'm looking for well water because I will never trust someone else with my water again. I know I moved here into it. I knew what I was getting into, but I didn't think it would be this bad. I didn't think it'd affect me this way. But them saying that our kids' disabilities are psychosomatic and placebo effects. They're just trying to mitigate it one piece at a time so they can try to slip it in again somewhere else. Oh, it wasn't that bad. The kids were always going to have ADHD. The kids were always going to have behavioral problems. Look at Flint, it's poor. Obviously, that these things are going to happen. No. And granted, we let our kids get away with a lot more than they should have as a whole because of this. But it is not us saying, oh, kid, you aren't responsible for your own actions. These are actual problems that our kids actually have. I've taken my kids to neurologists who have shown me scans of their brains through, CAT scan, and shown me where the damage is. And my kids, they still function fine. You know, I don't have nearly as many problems with my children as some others did. But mind you, my kids moved out of here at the beginning of the crisis and then moved back in 2016 with me, and we were using bottled water from then. So kids that were on that water the entire time, that is a lot of damage. My nephew, first time I met him, he said, let me cook some mac and cheese. And he was going to do it for his brother and my daughters. And he decided to use city water. And he goes, you can boil the lead out. No, you can't. The water evaporates, the lead stays down there. He has some problems to this day. And I love him to death. He's a good kid now. Back then, he was wild. He's found out how to manage his disabilities.
I don't think that people... I remember I got family in Virginia, and I remember going down one of the times to visit my daughter or something. I was talking to one of my cousins, and he was jokingly like, y'all got y'all water fixed? You know, and he was like, ha, I got y'all water fixed. Or, can you bathe in the water or some shit like that? And I'm like, no. You know, but the thing is, I don't think people realize that when you go to these restaurants, you know what I mean? Like McDonald's, when they bring the soda pop in, you know, they mix it with the water and they make pop. And then, you know, the stuff that they clean the grill with, that's water. You know what I mean? Like, so even when you weren't going and drinking out of the faucet, if you grabbed you a burger from McDonald's, you know, unless you were eating off of a completely filthy grill, and, you know, what were they cleaning the grill with? Or what were they washing the dishes with when you go to, you know, Roadhouse, or when you go to any of these restaurants? They water, right? You know what I mean? Like, so even when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the produce section, when they miss the vegetables, what is that?
That is city water.
So I just don't see how, you know, even with the council members and the state rep, they live in Flint. Unless you guys got complete whole RO systems, reverse osmosis, or, you know, whole RO system, then you get it too.
Yeah. And I don't know how it takes over a decade to replace the service lines. And mind you, the service lines are one problem. But when your mains are corroded, that's another entirely different problem.
Now, what is the actual main? Is that the big pipe that goes on the middle of the street?
That's a huge pipe that goes underneath the street that pulls water from the plant and then shunts it into your house.
Right. Okay. Okay. I thought the main was like a hookup. I don't know. It's just
it's the main line that carries majority of the water, and then it hits your service line and pushes water into your house.
So basically, we're just saying the main line, water main line. Water main. Okay, like, so okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. So we've replaced, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say majority of the service lines. Not all of them, but majority. But the main lines themselves. So your water plant can be the best in the world. And Mr. Bruce showed me the power plant or the water plant there. He gave me the specs on it. That thing, if it were to build up all the pressure that it could and not expel anything, you would have small moderate water explosions. And by explosion and moderate, I do mean for you to put those two things together. You're blowing up chunks of the street. So that thing can really force the water down, right? So if it goes from the plant, gets cleaned up, okay, nice, pretty fine. And we are now off of the Flint River water. Nice, pretty fine. But the damage has been done to the main lines now. Enough chemicals have gone through there and have corroded the corrosive protections.
So like on the inside of the...
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's ripped that apart, and gotten down to the lead, and that is still pushing. And then the heavy metals, other heavy metals. So if it was copper or iron, that's getting pushed now in that main line to your service line that was just replaced. Hooray, happy for you. You're still getting the shit in there. Sister Audrey Muhammad's filter showed us everything we needed to see earlier this year. It came out looking like mud. And every year they try to give us this big old grand update. We've done so much. We've accomplished this much. And the people of Flint are so resilient. Stop kissing our asses and just get it done. No people on earth, I don't care how evil they may be, deserve to have this done to them.
And again, for all 36 of you that are watching, our current mayor was a city council member then.
Voted to change over to the Flint River to save money.
There you go. And went from city council to the state representative, where he did absolutely nothing to fix the damage that he was a part to cause.
Actually fought for more damage. As Bruce here was saying, and Bruce will testify to this, he and several hundred people went down to Lansing to let them know that our water was fucked. Then State Rep Sheldon Neely came outside screaming at them, threatening to have them all arrested if they did not disperse. Because he didn't want the damage known. He didn't want the city that he was from to be known as a problem city.
Even before then, Flint had a lot of issues.
But how often did those issues get up to the state level? That is something that the state now had to step into. He didn't want to be looked down on by his peers as a city that was taking attention away from their cities. Remember, it's politics.
You're a fuck up?
As a fuck up. That's what he was thinking. And it isn't the city's fault. We were given bad representation at the local level. We were given bad representation at the state level. And then our governor decided we were going to cut corners. Or he didn't even decide that. He decided to throw in a lackey who was going to cut corners.
It's Bruce right here.
Yeah. To cut corners to save money. All this was about, and to them, money.
The crazy part about it is the mayor. It's all about this Sheldon dude, man. He wanted to stand against the school district. He's been, he's told school board members that the Flint community schools are going to be over and done with. It's a lost cause. He's fighting against.
Hey, Rose.
Hey, Miss Morrow. He's fighting against, the residents of Flint. He's fighting to keep the water corroded. He's fighting. He's getting millions on the board. Like what? Ain't y'all tired of this?
I'm fed up with it. Seriously. Just the building settling.
I was gonna say, did you hear that?
I did.
You ain't gonna tell me to move or duck or run?
No.
Oh, as long as it get me first, huh?
No. No. I mean, and think about it. Everyone who lives in Flint, just start taking a look at properties around the country. Because I've noticed this about myself lately. One place I was looking at was in a flood zone. And the first thing I thought of was fresh water. Instead of, it might take away the fucking house that I'm looking at buying. I won't have to rely on other water.
Right.
If something happened, hey, there's a flood, I've got water right there. You don't realize how important it is to you until you actually have to go through it. Just like air. No one sits there and thinks about air all day until you live in like LA and you have a constant smog over your head.
The crazy part about it, not to cut you off, Trevor, but they cut my neighbor's water off today. When I was cutting the grass this morning, I sat and watched the dude, and I'm like, I wanted to say something. I really did. I wanted to be like, are you proud of yourself for doing what you're about to go over there and do? You know what I mean? Like, I really wanted to say something, but what can I say except for, here go a check for my neighbor.
Yeah. And your neighbor, mind you, I don't know the neighborhood you're in. I don't know if they
Anderson Hood, right around the corner.
I don't know if they got their pipes replaced. Their service lines, at least. The mains, I mean, I know we didn't take care of over 50% of the mains here. So they're being punished for not paying for poison.
Is it just those two that are on the board?
For council, yes. Your finance chair and your president of the board, will sit on there. And your mayor also gets a seat on the KWA board.
How many are on there? 9?
I don't know. But yeah, I was talking with former mayor Karen Weaver about a year ago, and the mayor does have a reserved seat on that board. Whoever's mayor at the time, though they don't get profit payouts, obviously, because that's conflict of interest. But it's so
that
they
shit
know.
Don't matter around here.
So they know what's going on with their water.
Mm-hmm.
It is a new authority, which I don't understand the term authority in this state. It's a blend of business and government at the same time. It confuses the shit out of me. It trips me out. Like, we've had some of the most phenomenal people in the world come and stand up and try to fight for us. I honestly believe that's what cost Eric his life. Just the damage and the stress of over a decade of fighting. A decade of fighting for the people of Flint to just at least get clean water. How many times did he bring up water at city council? It was a once a meeting occurrence. And he was drowned out. We had Mr. Davis also stand up there and fight for the water. We've had Tanya, we have JWC. All these folks have been there and have fought to get the water fixed. And constantly they're ignored. We've had local leaders, such as yourself, such as, Art Woodson, stand up and try to fight to get the water fixed. And constantly they've been railroaded. They've been derived as problem makers. They've been derived as problem people. There's no winning until we get rid of these people. There's no winning until the folks who would stand in the way of us fixing our problems are gone. To be responsible voters and look at how they feel about the things that are important to us. And if we don't start doing that and start actually vetting, because honestly, the first time I hear someone say, because I might not be out of here before election time, but the first time I hear someone say, "Oh, I believe the water's fixed," they're not getting my vote. And they will have me rail against them. Hey, there's the name of the page that is
Yep. I just followed them the other day. I just joined the group or whatnot. Yep.
Yeah. So it's nice to see you guys in here. Today is marking the decade anniversary of the Flint water crisis, so we're going through a little bit of the history of that. I don't know, man.
I remember. I was going through my Instagram the other day, and I like the fact that I'm a photographer too, so I take a lot of pictures.
You get a lot of good ones.
I don't post a lot, but I take a lot. And I don't take a lot of myself. That's the other thing, but I take a lot of pictures. But I remember when the water, that's had to have been 2015 or 16, when we were marching. We were down at Metropolitan Church, and it was freezing cold out there. You know what I mean? And we marched from Metropolitan Church to, was it the water place? That was so long ago. But I remember, just going out of the back of a U-Haul truck with a dolly, you know what I mean, and delivering water to senior citizens up and down the street. Just like, that was 2016 and 2017 when I did that. Was damn near 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is crazy.
It's,
we paying the highest rates water rates in the nation, the highest insurance rates in the state,
mm-hmm.
the highest energy rates.
Our state is also one of the highest states in the union for insurance rates.
Right. So, right. So again, we should have our state rep should be raising holy hell about all this stuff that we got. This, you know what I mean, like that we have here that we should not. We're not benefiting anything. It's just, man, we just do. It's the same things. Taxation without rep, representation.
Our state senator, city council, because they use the water bill to pay for you to pay them so they can pay every other expense they have. Mm-hmm. Because they've learned if they say taxes, people lose their fucking mind. Mm-hmm. But they can quietly say water rates. And most people don't bat an eye because it's supposed to be a service, especially people that are moving into Flint who have been fed all the propaganda Flint's fixed. Oh, well, if the water's fixed, I understand that took a lot of money. It shouldn't. That shouldn't be going through their heads. Mm-hmm. Number one, the city of Flint received over $600 million to fix the pipes. And that's just governmental funds. That's not even including grants or donations. $600 million. And they squandered it. And now, since they squandered it, they're trying to scramble to get money back to continue fixing the pipes, even though Sheldon Neely...
Yeah, oh shit, we got to fix it now. Yeah.
Even though Sheldon Neely recently went on to ABC 12 and said the pipes are fixed, which, once again, Art mathematically proved yesterday mm-hmm. that was impossible. Because they were doing something like 800 or 900 pipes a year. And now we are down to 1 or 2 work crews who are about 4 or 5 men strong. At the beginning of this, we had 6 companies working to replace the pipes, and they were only getting maybe about like 30 fucking homes a month.
And the fact that what's the name of the company that did all those that did the work or had the list of houses and got paid $700 some thousand and the city didn't get reimbursed? Mm-hmm. Like, well, for one, we don't have any directors because what's his name, man? The dude that fixed the city administrator.
Oh, Clyde?
Clyde. Yeah, Clyde's got so many jobs, you know, like we don't have the DPW director.
Nope.
So anything with working public, you know, like public works, you know, like the roads, the water, anything like that, like there's no oversight. So what do? We don't have an ombuds person.
No.
There's no check and balance for the city council, though. So they just...
I mean, the crazy thing how they wrote this up, the ombuds person is now effectively a wing of the Ethics and Accountability Board. Okay.
Let me just take that back because there is an ombuds person. She's just not sworn in. So she's
still interim.
Right.
Which is crazy to me. But,
right.
And then the Ethics and Accountability Board, when it comes to our governance, can write a strongly worded letter mm-hmm. to council, and then it's on council to follow through with a recommendation. So if they find, say, councilman or councilhuman from the 11th ward, we're just going complete hypothetical here, right? Mm-hmm. Had done something unethical and illegal. The only thing the board could do is recommend. And then if the city council reads that letter and then decides not to do anything about it, there's no recourse after that. 0. This board has been ineffective. We didn't have anything beforehand to hold our leaders accountable. And hell, we even changed the way we prosecute criminals in this state because of the water crisis. Snyder, the one-man grand jury. Oh, it was good enough to throw a guy in prison for a fucking dime bag of marijuana, but it's not good enough to throw a man in prison, or at least give him a trial to throw him in prison and hold him accountable for poisoning an entire city.
Yeah.
The water crisis has changed literally everything.
And instead of council doing things to find ways to alleviate that, we got council members sending school board members letters about emails about other members.
Or we've got council members, instead of finding ways to put the American Rescue Plan Act funds toward bettering Flint and, what Flint's known for, our crime.
Oh, my bad.
Our water. I see it.
Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sitting here looking at Trevor. I'm sorry. I get sidetracked.
But
that's why Mickey's the best producer.
Our crime and our water. We have council members lining their own pockets, writing themselves grants from that money toward their pet projects, or trying to give themselves over $250,000 to their projects, or leveraging those funds basically for voters to find ways to, oh, look, here's a $300 water credit. After everything you've done to us.
$300 water credit.
Water credit.
Not a payment.
Not a payment.
A credit.
Credit. After everything you've done to us with that exact water, you couldn't think of something better?
And there was still a long debate about giving us the credit. Was it going to be a credit or a payment? There was a long debate. I remember that.
Yes, and I remember Dennis. Now, mind you, me and Mr. Pfeiffer do get along now, but there is one point in time where I was heavily critical of him. He's since stepped onto the other side, right? Or onto the side that I align with. He sat there and said, old folks won't have to decide between paying their water and buying their prescriptions. And then they swapped the wording on them. So you still had to make a payment, even with that water credit. Because if you didn't, they'd shut off your water. They'd shut off your poisoned water. Honestly, in my mind, whatever. I will figure it the fuck out. If I have to take my clothes down to Fenton or Grand Blanc and just use a laundromat there, cool. But the problem is, a lot of folks' parents, right? If you are in a house without running water, they'll take your kids away.
Yep.
Or old folks, if you are living by yourself and you don't want to pay for living water, or for poisoned water, so you just cut that bill out of your life, they'll go throw you in a home. And the city will inspect you. The second that your water gets turned off, they will send someone out. And if they think that you have kids, they will notify DPS instantly. Or DHS, Department of Human Health and Human, whatever. Same thing for old folks. If you're just some dude living alone, then they're going to send the cops like, oh, he must be a crackhead or a drug abuser letting these bills slip. They have effectively blocked you into having to use their service when their service is detrimental to your health. There is no way out of it.
If we weren't living this, if we weren't living it, if you were to just sit here and tell me like most of our supporters that are not from here, they can't believe that we're actually going through this stuff. You know what I mean? Like they can't believe it.
It hits hard, dude. You're raising your son now. You've already raised your daughter through this. I've raised 2 daughters through this. Mickey, I think he's got like 3 kids and only one of them lives at home right now. Raised them through this. Miss Malone, one of the nice ladies in our chat, and I've met her son. They had their own fight with the land bank, which is its own thing, which we'll go through eventually. But she's raised her kid through this. Hell, you're on the school board, Mike. You've got 2,800 kids who are for the rest of their lives will be afraid of a water faucet.
We've got 2,800 kids who've never drunk from a water faucet.
Right? I remember growing up drinking from a hose.
Yeah,
and these kids now look at it like it's a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Like, don't spray me with that.
Yeah. You know what? I was looking. Maybe that's why a lot of these cars are getting rusted out that aren't even old. You know what I mean? Like some of these cars, you'll see they have rust spots all over them. You know, you expect it from an older car, but a car that's newer, you know what I mean? Like they got all these rust spots all over them. It's just.
I mean, I don't wash my cars.
I wash my car every morning.
No, I don't do it. Why? Because one, the chemical, like I hate the smell of bleach and the chemicals that they put in our water.
Yeah.
Like taking a shower for me, I have to sit there with those Vicks pucks for clearing out your sinuses. I use that just so I don't have to smell my own fucking shower water, man.
Oh no. Well,
I don't want my car smelling like that. It gives me a headache, gives me a migraine, puts me down for a couple days. Yeah. For one, and for two, all the chemicals they throw in there, it will start to rot your car.
Yeah. I paid for that membership, and they said you can wash your car as many times as you want in a month. Sometimes my ritual when I drop my son off at school. But no, but seriously though, some of our kids, like I remember in the summertime growing up, my mom wouldn't let us back in the house. You know, like drink from the water fountain. Yeah, stop running in the wasting my air conditioner. Like drink from the water fountain. Like that was
now thing. When you tell your kids that, they look at you like you just sentenced them to death.
Drink from the water hose. My bad. Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, you can't do that anymore.
No.
You can't. Even these refrigerators that have the water in the ice dispenser that's right in the door.
I have that. It's not hooked up.
Mine is too. Right, it's not hooked up.
Do I need ice? Sure, I will go buy a bag of ready ice, which I've never done in my life. I grew up in Arizona, where you need cool, something to cool down your body temperature, and I just make my own ice cubes. Mom and dad taught me that. Then we just throw them in an ice shaver. Here, I broke that habit real fucking fast. I'd go down to Kroger or Walmart or to University Mini Mart when I'm feeling lazy. I buy a bag of ice and I put that into my ice dispenser in my fridge.
Yeah, I was doing the bottled water in the ice maker in the in the little ice things. But most of the time, I'll just go get a bag of ice and leave it in the refrigerator. In the freezer. Yeah,
because we can't trust anything to do with water here. Hell, my dogs get bottled water. Mine dogs.
Yeah.
Like some people think we're pampering our pets. No, I just don't want
my dog to live.
Yeah, I want my dog to live, for one, and for two, I can't afford the vet bills.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm already paying one of the highest water bills in the country, some of the highest insurance rates in the country, like you pointed out. I'm about to be moving, but if I weren't, I was going to homestead my house so I didn't have to pay their stupid taxes there. Where does ready ice come from? I think they use an osmosis.
I hope they do.
No, I mean, when I go to Walmart, the blue polar bear one is like, your tap water hangs out in some seedy places, and try this purified.
These are facts right here.
GM engine plant calls Snyder's office complaining, your fucking water is eating through our metal dies and engine blocks. 2014.
Yep.
I mean, GM, though, has no room to complain either with the amount of random crap they throw into the river here. They're just about as much to blame as our politicians. Because, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, early 80s, there weren't as many regulations telling them that they couldn't just dump their waste chemicals or their waste batteries or their waste metal dyes into the damn river. So they did.
That's why it's right by the river.
Yeah. It is insane. But we decided to make a choice to swap over to our river. And our pipes were already made of lead. It's just the river was so corrosive that it got rid of the protections that were in these pipes.
Yes, there are over 275,000 people in Detroit this weekend.
Oh, damn. Well, glad they aren't here.
Yeah.
I mean, Flint doesn't have the infrastructure for that. This town was expanded to have 200,000 people. And that dream was still alive even after most of the auto industry left out. They were still looking at ways to expand Flint. And we are down to, I believe, last census I checked was 87,000, maybe less, maybe in the 76.
Yeah, it's somewhere between. I thought there was like 83 somewhere the last time I checked, but that was a couple of years back. Just like people are dying off, moving off. You know, not doing, census. Yeah. That's our biggest issue is a lot of people don't do the census.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is a census worker, and she has doors slammed in her face often. And it doesn't affect you directly, unfortunately. Like some people think, oh, well, if I say I get 60,000 a year, then my exact taxes go up. No. It's to bring services and money into an area. Our schools need it. By God, our people need it. Trying to get any sort of help here. I've told you when I moved here, I couldn't get a job for a while. Yep. And my wife, she had to fight tooth and nail to go to the Genesee County like Job Corps type bill that trained her how to read insurance coding for medical billing. And that was a godsend. And that program has been reduced. There's so many people here without jobs because so many businesses, as soon as the water crisis hit, left. I mean, we were already in a declining state. It was just mitigated until that happened. And now what jobs were around here are almost gone. We've got Lear. That's cool, I guess. I don't know if I trust another chemical company in my city now. I mean, hell, they've been responsible for 2 chemical spills that went, guess where? Into the river.
We elect people based on what they say. In Flint, we elect people based on popularity, friendships, relationships, what they say they could do for me personally. I don't like this person because they got a Cadillac, so I'm going to vote for this person because he drives a vehicle. Whatever this, the reason is,
I mean, we've had a presidential candidate on this platform before, and I made fun of him for driving a Ford. This is a GM city.
You did?
Yeah.
Who?
It was the Libertarian candidate.
Okay.
Matt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But still, at the end of the day, people don't educate themselves on the candidate. You know what I mean? Like let's just look at the first ward. There were 9 people that were trying to be appointed a couple weeks ago. And one person blatantly admitted, "Hey, I haven't paid attention to city council. I've never been to a city council meeting." And then the first thing that shot through my mind is, why are you here? Why are you, if you've never seen
and then we had 2 people that I can personally vouch for that actually knew what the hell's going on and have plans, though differing. They actually came forward with plans to help fix the first ward. That is your co-host on today's later show, Ms. Carol, and Rose Morrow.
Yeah.
Both of them had plans and they were looked over. And you're right. It's less to do with what they can do and what they say they will do. But in terms of politics, any promise is an empty one. You have to look at what they've done prior.
There you go. Voting record
or community work, and community work that didn't just have a camera in front of it.
There you go. There. That's the big thing. Because me, like I said, I don't like, me. I'm not the biggest public speaker. Like
there's a camera there and you're sitting there.
Right. And I'm campaigning right now. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just not, it's not about clack necessarily. I'm just the person that wants to represent. It's about everybody else. The 80,000 other people that exist here in the city. It's about them. It's not, I just feel like I could be a better representative than what we have now. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, go.
So we don't trust the water here, but Bruce just brought up a good point. We don't trust our own government here. Our government's the one that did this to us. You're running for a position that one of the previous seat holders tried to sweep this under the rug. That office is stained.
Yeah.
The city council is stained because for the longest time, they would refuse to admit, and they had people escorted out of city council chambers because they were talking about the water. how are we supposed to trust our governments if they won't listen to us and if they actively punish us for speaking about what we need? And I'm not talking like, oh, we need jobs, which is a thing. This is, oh, we need water that won't kill us. And we had people escorted out of city council chambers. Sometimes when they got a little loud about it, they were arrested. Mm-hmm. And then they had fines to pay in X, Y, and Z. And now it's on their record. Honestly, if you happen to have been arrested for doing that sort of deal, I think you should wear it as a badge of honor.
I do too.
Right? Like, I got arrested and punished for trying to help the people of my city. Mm-hmm. That is a badge of honor. And, you know, I would rate that up there with some of the medals I wear on my dress uniform. Because it's someone standing up for something they believe in. For other people, not just themselves.
Standing on business is what we call it in the hood.
As Wentus would call it, standing on business. Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys, I appreciate everybody that's watching, that's listening to the sound of our voices here.
I'm sorry, you have to see my face.
Yeah, you can see Trevor, right? You can't see me, but I'll be on again later on today at 5 with Carol. I know Carol's sick. I hope she feels better. But
hey, you might actually get a chance to talk on your own show.
I didn't say it. Y'all heard it was Trevor that said it, but nah. But
Thank you.
I just want everybody to know what's going on here, and the residents, even though they're they take a little bit longer to wake up. We are trying to wake everybody up, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. Like if you look at how we're shaking stuff up in the city with the 2-hour conversations on 810, about targeting 810, the doxing of our producers and
their wives,
and throwing Clack in jail, and you know what I mean, and throwing Trevor, making you out to be the demon with the big gun of the city, you know what I mean, like stuff. Look, we're just regular people trying to exploit the BS. Trevor only wore that gun to prove a lesson. Am I right?
Yeah.
To prove a point, rather. To prove a point.
It was it's none of your business if I carry or not. You don't need to know. Why are you advertising to everyone walking in here? I'll just walk in with something you can see. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Look, switching gears real quick, downtown Flint is one of the most dangerous areas in the city, in a city known for its violent crime.
Mm-hmm. If people are getting smoked at the bus station.
Yeah. Which just a few blocks away from City Hall. Mm-hmm. Not even kidding. More people in Flint. Mind you, I've lived in Arizona, very gun-friendly state. Colorado, when I lived there, very gun-friendly state. Texas, everyone knows it as, the big shoot and pew. I've lived in these states, and I've met more people in Flint, Michigan with a concealed carry license than I have in the other 3 combined. There's a reason for that. We don't feel safe here. We don't have police representation. The cops do not come. So when I'm attending my local government and I'm trying to be a good citizen and keep up with what is going on, I should not have to put myself at risk. I shouldn't have to be in danger of being mugged or attacked while entering or leaving this. Keep that up for a second, please.
I don't know.
What happened with...
We won the settlement agreement, though, right?
I don't know. I do know that the lawyers came back. Oh, there's more on that. But yeah, we shouldn't have to put ourselves at risk to come in. And the biggest reason that there's a lawsuit now is they tried saying you can't carry a firearm to Flint City Council. Mm-hmm. They tried saying that. But I've had people actively try to mug me, and I don't mean mug with the face.
Yeah.
Leaving City Council. And I know many others. I don't allow the women that I associate with to walk to their cars alone while leaving City Council. Because they're inherent dangers.
That's the thing. That was the thing. Because remember that day when we had a show the day before, and you said you were going to do it, and I was like, Trevor, I support you over here. If I go down there with my gun, it's going to be 2 different things. So you're right. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't have to though.
No, and like I've said before, if anyone ever feels like open carrying into Flint City Council chambers, I'll come with you, and I will do the same. And then they can make a big old stink about a person of color carrying a firearm, and then they get to hear me raising my voice. If you're messing with him, why aren't you messing with me? Are you automatically assuming that a man of color is going to be more dangerous? I'm sorry. Yeah, as in the army. Yes, as in the infantry. Yes, I'm responsible for more bodies hitting the dirt than most other people here. Mind you, when I did it, it was government sanctioned.
They failed the corrosion control because it was what $100 additional $100 a day, right?
A day. No, it was more than $100.
I thought the corrosion control was $100.
No, it was higher than that. A day. But you were right. It was a fine of per day, not per month, per week. It was
it wasn't a fine. It was just, I think, just the cost of the actual material.
Oh, cost of material, yeah. But when they failed,
to put
it came into a fine.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you, advocacy. I don't know, guys. It's been a decade of hardship, and we aren't through it. And it's nice to see groups coming from outside of Flint to come and try to help. We've had several of those. And we have seen steps taken each time. And I'm hoping this time, with it being an election year, that while people are doing their research and they're looking, that articles by Advocacy Cyber Investigations Unit pop up and educate people, that 810 News Media Group pops up and educates people. We have several people around the city and around the state and around the country trying to help the folks here. It's just this year, every year that ends in an even number, we see more searches being done. It can be seen in analytics.
No, the water is not fixed.
No. Advocacy Cyber Investigations Unit. If you go onto this page, either through the FaceSpace or the YouTube, and you look up Morning Bump for the date of 4/25/2024, you'll see Miss Wintus and Arthur Woodson. Arthur Woodson happens to be the big water guy. He was also in the service in the Army. He was part of a CBRN unit. Well, that's what it's called now. It used to be NBC, Nuclear Biological Chemical Unit. He is very knowledgeable about what poisons the human body and such because of that.
Did you see the show this morning? No. Oh man,
I didn't wake up.
Yeah, you got to see this morning show too with the dude who
Mr. Jordan.
Jordan, I forget his last name.
He's from the Status Quo.
Yeah, the Status Quo, and he's got the documentary that's coming out on Sunday. So,
but
yeah,
Arthur Woodson will tell you the current numbers of phosphates, P's, lead levels, all of that. You can even reach out to him on Facebook, Arthur Woodson. I think he's changed his name on Facebook, Arthur Woodson for mayor right now. He can tell you all about the water. Mr. Bruce Steers on here as well. He's helped Mr. Jordan with the documentary, and he is very well versed in Flint history as well as the chemical composition of our water because he's kept up on it. You and I, we hang out more on the government side of things. I'm not a chemist. I did go to school for biology. I didn't complete that degree. Oh well. But my side is more the government side, same as you, and tracking the money and making sure we hold our elected representatives responsible. And instead of holding representatives responsible, we've given them promotions from city council to state representative to now mayor.
Only in Flint do you get promoted for fucking up.
And then we gave our governor a promotion to non-persecuted human rights violator. And after a decade, dude, that kills me. Like, no one's gone to prison. No one's served a fine. No one's even been called before Congress or any sort of inquiry board. Even the city manager that said do it, flop over to the Flint River was acquitted in court because he said his job was to manage the finances of the city, not the health of its residents. A decade. And we ain't got shit. A decade, and all we've got is PTSD and debt.
Well, our city don't give a full FOIA when asked, and they take forever. I requested a FOIA for my son with Flint Police, and they didn't give me. How much was it? How much did they charge you?
Oh, yeah. I've given up on doing FOIAs myself.
Yeah.
I put in like 12 in 2022, and they progressively got more expensive. The one I tried in 2023 was going to cost me over $400. I said, no, thank you.
The one that was posted yesterday was $3,200. It was $3,200.
Yeah.
And then you got to put half down as a deposit. Oh, well, that's $25 for, that's not bad. I would have done that.
Yeah. When I started asking for financials, credentials, number of personnel per department, and then the titles. So like how many paper pusher bees do you have? And then salary per position. I usually get smacked with $300 to $400 to $500 FOIAs, and then a couple times I'll get smacked with a couple thousand, depending on the size of the department, like I did with the police department. That one was hefty.
Yeah, I've heard, but it's just a deterrent, just a way to try to deter people from trying to get information. So,
I mean, what did we say Wednesday? We are fighting money. We have people, and people will always outweigh money, but when it comes to an individual basis, that money is going to carry a lot of weight.
I don't know.
FBI did come in to investigate former Mayor Weaver for embezzlement. She was cleared of charges. They never charged her. But when it comes to the more current situations, we don't know.
The crazy part is she was in court, it seemed like every other week. Mm-hmm. No evidence of, just hearsay or whatever. Found innocent, not a whatever. And then we got this going on. Mm-hmm. No one's been to court.
No.
No one's been charged. No one's been anything.
When city council, and this was when Mr. Mays was still alive, then we had Jerry Winfrey Carter, Tanya Burns, Dennis Pfeiffer. They were all voting to investigate 2nd Ward Councilwoman Liddell Lewis and 3rd Ward Councilman Quincy Murphy for taking bribes from Ashley Capital. Mm-hmm. And that got shot down on a basis of, I think it was 4-4. So it didn't pass because it didn't have the majority vote. So there has been no investigations called for in the corruption of Flint. And every case that has been called for in the poisoning of our water has ended up in the perpetrators being called non-culpable, or it wasn't their fault because it wasn't their job. FBI, go ahead and talk with Ms. Tia. She's been all over your page. She's been writing them nonstop, I believe, with Dr. Padroni. And he's a professor, I believe, Wayne State.
The FBI?
Yeah.
I've been writing them emails. I've been writing, man.
I mean, while everyone's going to the FBI, I do heavily suggest going to the State Bureau of Investigations as well, as they're more local. They usually have more time to investigate this sort of deal.
I've been reaching out to a lot of the popular YouTubers that have a platform that's bigger than ours. I reached out to Jedediah, Tommy G, Rashad Ritchie, Roland Martin, a lot, big name people.
Yeah.
Especially since the councilwoman and the pastors and they went to Dr. Ritchie and they
slandered Mr. Pfeiffer because
Yeah, no, I reached out to Roland. I've included him in the email. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send what?
That's Jeb's team boss.
Oh,
Hi, Jeb's
sorry.
team.
What's up, Jeb? Wait, no, I think that's that's the name of their YouTube. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I've been reaching out to a lot of people um a lot of a lot more friends in higher places than we do. They're tired of hearing from the same old people. So
Yeah.
my thoughts on the situation is that if we can get people that have you know bigger guns, so to speak, then maybe we can
when you
get some
have
type of movement.
Yeah, because numbers in terms of viewers equals momentum.
Mm-hmm.
The more momentum you have, the more pressure gets put onto these investigatory committees and or agencies. And then behind that is the more people you know are watching you nationwide, the less likely you are to act out. So like if I knew that I had 10 people watching me, I wouldn't lift a candy bar from a corner store, right? Everything is about bringing accountability and transparency to our governance and to our lives here in Flint.
Real quick, I want to say this to you. You, because remember when you actually helped me out a lot. Remember when I first got on the school board, and you said, "Hey, Clack, man, you got to take a look at this audit, man." You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, and it took me like a month, and you're like, "Dude, have you looked at the audit yet?"
Pages 58 and 57.
Yep, 57, 58. Yep. And then it was 82 and 83, I think it was, with the findings. Yeah, so I wanted to, that, and I did. That was one thing that I promised, that when I was president, that the audit would not look like previous audits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because previous audits, there were gaps in the money that came out to be something like 14, 15 million. There were after school programs where no children had to sign in or sign up, but whoever was doing the program would still get paid a flat amount, flat rate. The school system, before we had any sort of transparency on there, was the largest way to move money around in Flint in a corrupt manner.
Yeah.
And now that that's been taken care of and people have backed away from using that just because of how much was being looked at. There were thousands of people looking at the Flint schools.
Yeah.
Now they've reverted back to trying to use the city council.
Yeah.
But the deal with that is city council don't care. If you speak out about it, you are removed from the chambers. You are removed from the chambers for clapping.
The lady said the Pledge of Allegiance louder than everyone else, and she was removed. She didn't say anything derogatory, anything against the law. She said
she wasn't even saying it in a tone that would suggest aggression.
Yeah, she was just saying it louder.
She, either feeling extremely patriotic that day, or she just loved saying the pledge, or
no, she was pissed off.
Oh, obviously,
she was pissed off, and but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can clap.
Yeah.
You can express your anger, or you can express your.
So here's the dichotomy there, right? We've had people go up to that podium recently and start talking about the water be removed. We've had people recently stand up in the middle of the crowd and call out some BS about water or about funding or about X, Y, and Z, instantly removed. And then we've had people recently stand up and start yelling at the minority part of the council, or the smaller vote.
Right.
The Dennis, Jerry Winfrey Carter, Tanya, and at the time Eric Mays, screaming at them. But because the majority vote, that this person yelling at these council members the majority vote happened to like what she was saying, she was not removed, and she was politely asked to sit down. Then she was congratulated and thanked. Or Paul shoulder checking an 80-year-old woman, and then when she lightly taps him to get her space because He literally bumped into her, trying to get footage for his stuff. But because his stuff happens to favor the more corrupt side of city council, they let it go, and they started trying to charge Miss Liz with assault.
And the crazy part about that is that the camera was on number 2, right? Number 2 wasn't paying attention.
No, she was had her head down like this.
Right.
Her purse was right here, and you saw her writing.
And then all of a sudden, Paul says what he says, and she looks up and she says, "Oh, we got a resident assaulting another resident." But if you remember the same situation that happened with Jasmine Stanley, the same situation happened. She wasn't paying attention because she even said it. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't see it.
And then the audacity later that no one held him accountable, because Paul, in very many ways, is like us, right? And I mean that as he's a media outlet in Flint.
Oh, I was looking
showcasing
at
government.
Paul like us.
Showcasing government.
Right.
For him to go out and verbally accost Miss Liz the following Saturday on a show, and no one hold him responsible or accountable, even though he's the one that started the altercation, trying to get controversy for likes and views.
Yep.
He physically assaulted her by shoulder checking her just to get that reaction. I accidentally shoulder checked my mother once when I was 17. I dislocated her shoulder. She was in her 40s. This is an 80-year-old woman. Women of that age, osteoporosis is a thing. He could have caused some severe damage, but without Eric Mays there, he doesn't get the controversy that he wants.
But that's the scumbag part that I was talking about. It's you antagonize somebody when you walk around when especially when the whole situation it's an emotional situation, and then you walk right behind somebody and then you shove your phone in their face. You know what I mean? Like that right there that will irritate somebody, and especially when she's Miss Liz, she's very emotional. She's gonna speak what's on her mind. So when she's speaking, like
her, just like Miss Bev Biggs, both of them are the type of people I will respect out of terror because they remind me of my granny, and they will verbally let you know that you are the dumbest piece of shit on earth in the nicest way possible, and you just feel even worse for it. Both of those ladies are like that. I love them to death. So when you shoulder check her, shove a phone in your face, Ms. Liz is going to let you know about what you're worth.
Yeah. But remember when Eric was removed, Paul almost ran up to the front with his phone, and he was, walking walking right behind Eric with his phone, like getting all the footage. Like that stuff is annoying to people. Like even though
Paul knows to stay more than an arm's length away from me.
I just know.
I remember when he did that whole thing with Neely and, basically set it up to make me look like a mass shooter. I confronted him after, non-violently, and I told him, Paul, you stay out of my arm's reach. Ever since then, even if I'm in the middle of some controversy in those chambers, he stays out of my arm's reach.
I don't play the whole disrespect the elders, disrespect the women thing. I don't. And that's the part about being a politician. I still consider myself a newly, elected official. That's the part that scares me because I'll beat your ass. Like I'm not doing that. You're not going to be disrespecting old women. You're not going to be disrespecting women at all. You're not going to be disrespecting anybody, let alone me. But Miss Liz, somebody like that, And look, I'm telling you, it would have been a different story if I'd have been there. I don't play that. You weren't there the other day, but when Dr. Weaver was when she jumped up and with Jasmine Stanley, Jasmine's like my little sister. So I'm not going to let nothing happen to her if I can help it. No, I'm not doing that.
There you go. Write that down.
I think I already did reach out to Long Island Audit.
All right. He's typing into his phone now. Yeah, guys.
But yeah.
I will once again reiterate, I am proud of the people who were there when that happened with Ms. Liz Taylor for not reacting in a way that would give them license to ban us. or the movement from those chambers.
Yeah, that's
because the second we fall into that violence, we fall into that trap where they bait us into it. Then we have no representation and we have no eyes in there. So everyone who was there who did not react in a way that they expected us to, I have to congratulate you.
The reason why is because they're 2 years behind. They're years behind on things, but they just so happen to bring Billy Dantzler's complaint up that was just filed the other day. So they do what they want to do.
I have to.
Billy was
when it comes to the EA board,
mm-hmm.
I have to say they're ineffectual and I don't trust them. And while we have several members on there who are well-to-do and good meaning, the problem is that board, A, has no power, and B, they were all appointed by members of council. Of course, there's going to be loyalty there. It is just a mirror of council on a smaller scale. Nothing will get done there. There's no point to it. It is a waste of money at this point.
I'm going to just say this real quick. There's 51 people watching. If elected to state representative, don't get mad when I'm doing things by the book. I'm not breaking no laws. I'm not doing none of that. You can see from my time on the school board. If you do wrong, I will report you.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not doing none of that. Like there's too many people have been suffering for way too long because we put our trust and faith in people that we voted for and they've
failed us.
They failed us. I was going to say another F word, but they failed us so many times. Like if you just look at the school district by itself, the year 2013, when all them schools got closed and given away and sold off, and the service center and all this other stuff that happened, the Atwood Stadium and all this other stuff that we had that was given away, and we look up to these people.
Given away.
And we look up to these people.
Yeah. It makes no sense to me, man. It's been longer than a decade that Flint's had these problems. Far longer.
1991 is when what is it, the master plan, when they said that all that stuff started.
Speaking of that, I got an email from Kildy as well. But no, it really started when the auto industry moved out of Flint. Mm-hmm. Because that was the money. The money left. People were scrambling, and many of the rats decided corruption was the best way to go. I mean, granted, there was corruption prior, but then it became more desperate. And it turned less into funnel a few dollars here or there to line my pockets to fuck the people.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't even be as bad because the people wouldn't know if the people had been getting their piece. If the people had been getting, like Rich Jones, I'll say it from the mountaintops, he was the only one that was saying zero out the water bill. Like he was saying the water bills need to be zeroed out. We don't need to be paying water. If the council and the mayor and all them people, are you doing the dance again?
No.
Okay.
I just got the back pains.
Okay, my bad. But if they had done what they're supposed to do, and they could have still taken their money and got but if they had done the people right, it would not have gotten this far.
We wouldn't know about it.
We would not even be knowing about it. We wouldn't even be paying attention. But since they stole all the water,
the wind funds.
I wasn't even talking about. I didn't even get on that. I was talking about the water settlement.
Oh yeah, here's a fun one. Water settlement. Each house is capped at $1,000, only paying out to children into 3 age groups. Okay, so if you have 2-3 children, my type, you're only getting $1,000 for your household. That goes to your children. Split among my 2 kids, that's $500 a kid. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work. Second off, doesn't cover adults, but it does cover some property damage. So cut that into thirds now. My house, my youngest, my oldest, $333.33 ad infinitum. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then since no one's been paid out because they keep doing more and more and more and more paperwork, trying to hold on to the money as long as possible, interest accrues. Okay, while interest is accruing, that money could be put more into the people of Flint. Instead, the lawyers came back. Remember, the lawyers took over 60% of that settlement money in the first place.
I thought it was 44%. I thought they took because they normally take 33, right? 30
something like that.
There,
yeah,
right?
they took the lion's share.
Right.
But remember, they also get between 6 and 8% per person payout as well. So they get 6 to 8% of, say, like my youngest child,
The $1,000.
6% for her, 6% for my oldest, 6% for my house.
And that's not included in the 40% or the whatever.
No.
And then they're going back to sue for
and then they're suing onto the interest.
The interest, yeah.
They want a cut of that as well. Everyone wonders why I don't like Erin Brockovich. She's done great work apparently for California. She's done great work apparently for Flint. But the people that she works with are so money grubby that they agreed to let Flint hang just so they can make their money.
Shit, that's what the mayor and them are doing. They agreed to let Flint hang so they can make their twos and fews.
But no one looks up to Sheldon Neely.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Whereas Erin Brockovich goes around the country, and time and again, she shows up at places where the water's been poisoned. And I agree that the legal teams should be paid. That is not a question in my damn mind.
Of course.
But when it comes to being paid to the detriment of the people that they're supposed to be helping, you have not helped me now. You've put me into a worse position. Mm-hmm. How am I supposed to do anything for my kids with $333.33?
That's 2 months worth of water bills.
I could split it up, say, forget my house because I'm moving out of it. So $500. That's not going to get my kids college. That's not going to get my kids medical treatment. It's not going to
get your groceries for the month.
Honestly, I would have loved to see them give health care for the students and the residents affected for life. Just like the Army, any other government. You fuck it up, you pay for it. Mm-hmm. The Army broke my back. They broke my mind. They broke my head. I am receiving $4,000 a month for the rest of my life. The Flint residents should benefit from that as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. There shouldn't even been a question. We should have had free health care for the rest of everyone's lives.
And mind you, I'm not a universal healthcare guy. Yeah. I'm not. But our government, 3 different forms of government, actually 4, set us up for failure and set us up for suffering. Mm-hmm. They should foot those bills for the rest of the people's lives that were affected. And you want to know what? It would give them even greater incentive to fix it. Why? Because each year they don't fix it, new babies are born. Mm-hmm. Those new babies then get healthcare for life. They would fix it in a hurry then, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Y'all, we got an election May 7th.
Yep.
May 7th for Ninth Ward. So let's go ahead and although I cannot vote, I support Jonathan Jarrett. I've been knowing him, a long time. Go ahead.
Instead of you've been knowing him, what has he done? No. Just like we're going to do with all the other candidates for every other race.
You are exactly right. You are exactly right, Trevor, because I just being hypocritical was doing the same thing. I just was about to go right through that door that I just said, vet these people. Thank you, Trevor. See, that's what friends do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know. I just know he's a good guy. He comes from a good family. I can't tell you what he's done.
So I think you and him need to have a sit down since you're friends, and he can walk a friend through what he's done for his community. I think a friend, talking with a friend makes it a bit more relaxed and he can be more open about it. Yeah. So we need to schedule that.
Yeah. And thank you again thank you. That's what friends do. Because I was just about to go, yeah, he's a good guy. He's my friend. Vote for him. Like, so let's go ahead and let's see. Everybody do your due diligence and do some checking around.
Then coming up, we've got the primaries, which you're in. Yep. I'll let you, throughout the weeks coming up, explain to people what you've done, what you're doing. I also want to point out that the primaries for the first ward are coming up.
Yep, that's.
We've got.
What is that? What is it? The date?
I believe it's on the August.
It's the August. It's the August ballot, right? Yeah. So it's going to be, and that's the same at the presidential election. So it should be a big voter turnout. It should be.
But I do know 2 people on that first ward ballot. Mm-hmm. Miss Carol, who's on the ENA board. Yep. Very loud and outspoken.
Very.
She does work with people trying to get their situation straight. Mm-hmm. And then we got Ms. Rose Morrow,
Mhm.
former cop, travel the country. And right now she's helping people get grants. Not loans, grants for home repairs. And she's helping them get their taxes and water bill straight so they can't be shut down, as well as navigating the paperwork to the point where she sits down with them, asks them the question, and fills it out for them.
Mhm.
So we have two really good contenders for the first ward. We've got Mike here running for state rep. He's got a nonprofit, well, a decent, real nonprofit.
Yeah, although let's be real.
It's non-active at the moment.
We're not active because we won't nobody give us any money. But you know, I'll just the quick mission of the nonprofit is to give assistance in all different types of ways to victims of domestic violence and human trafficking, sexual abuse, and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So that's what the mission is.
If people want to see how you govern in a legislative capacity, just take a look at your time on the school board, how you voted, if you were transparent or not. I happen to believe you were. Well, if you were approachable, about, you know, X, Y, and Z. We also have we don't have state senator this year, do we?
I don't think so. No.
Then you've got your senatorial races for Stabenow.
Right? County commission, yep. County commissioners are up this year in August.
Stabenow seat is up for grabs. Kildee seat is up for grabs. I don't know anyone running for those two. I can't speak for anyone. I'm not going to speak for either party either, because I believe both parties are absolute dog shit at this point and are basically the same thing.
Though.
Yeah. I'm not going to support Sheldon Neely.
We're not supporting Sheldon Neely for Congress. If he hasn't done anything at the city, at the state, as a mayor, what the hell make y'all think he's gonna do something at the federal level?
Federal level has higher bribes, I guess.
What the hell is? I mean, for us, rather. I mean, he might be.
Yeah, he's going to be doing a lot for him.
Yeah,
but no, I'm not going to be supporting him. I hope I don't see his. Actually, no, I hope I do see his name on the ballot so he can just blow money on it. I don't care. I wish to see this man in a hard financial situation without harm happening to him. I don't want to see him in a car accident. I don't wish harm upon anyone.
He bragged about having me thrown in jail. I don't. The gloves are off. Whatever happens to him, happens to him. I don't care.
And this year, I would like to see a recall on him.
I would too.
He's been in office for over a year. It's about that time. I don't think he's done enough to keep that seat. I don't think he's done anything.
I don't think
I guess Verizon's internet died for a minute.
Sorry, y'all. I don't know what that was. Can y'all hear us? Can you hear me? Can y'all hear us?
And no, we did not go to the mayor's office.
Nah.
Do I look like Quincy to you?
And you know what?
Oh yeah, no. I made sure that there's redundancies with our internet here. So while Mickey and Wintus got the Wi-Fi box, I still pay to have our building provide internet as well.
Yeah, no.
So we just swapped internets.
Clack ain't met with the mayor. I've actually declined that. That's one of the reasons why he was pissed at me, because I wouldn't meet with him. I declined a meeting with him. I ain't got no time to meet with no criminal.
No.
But I don't know what just happened. Sorry, we have some technical difficulties real quick. I have no idea what that was. But I'm gonna have to pick my son up at 3:20. So we want to go till 3?
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes.
3:50, 3:10.
3:10. Yeah, we can do 3:10.
Mickey ain't here. We can go over.
You guys notice how every time that Clack runs producer seat, oh, we can do more time.
Mickey ain't here. I ain't studying the mayor.
The mayor.
I ain't studying him. Man, rest in peace, Eric.
That was a trip. I liked him. No,
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Mama. I know exactly why I didn't get any money. Eric, for one, Eric came from his seat in the council meeting to walk me to the council office to give me an application. There went my ARPA fund money opportunities right there.
mm-hmm.
That was it. That was it. Like Eric came, and then they saw me walk back in there with Eric, and he was telling me how to fill it out, like what to say. There went my opportunities to get any type of funding from the city. So I just went back to work.
Yeah, it's been rough, dude. Like ARPA funds in and of themselves were the fight, I feel, was in vain.
Which fight?
For ARPA funds. And here's why. We wanted home repairs.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted improved infrastructure. We wanted better policing.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted things that normal, everyday Americans want.
Common sense shit.
Yes. We want our roads to be drivable. We want our water to be drinkable. We want our neighborhoods to be a place where kids can go out and play without having to worry about stray gunshots or X, Y, and Z. Instead, they cared about blight and parks,
chalets.
Yes. I mean, they had 3 categories. So it was blight, area beautification, and something else. And all that money went to nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
And what drives me crazy is each one of those 3 categories, there is a governmental agency at the city, county, or state level whose job it is to do it anyway. How much money did we give away just for blight? I think it was something like $20 million. When we have a blight department that works for the city and a blight department that works for the county, and we have a land bank who's supposed to be doing this stuff of their own, on their own time, on their own dime.
You know what?
And all the pain and suffering and fighting we did just to see that money go away and not a nickel go toward what we actually cared about
or need. Because in a minute, once you start, when you drive through the neighborhoods and you get to a corner, the grass is going to get all high at these abandoned houses, and you can't see a car coming down the street. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things that pisses me off. If you're trying to go from one, like across Mackin Road or something like that, mm-hmm. The grass gets so high that you can't even see a car coming down Mackin Road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the crazy part about it. Y'all give all this money away for blight, but you won't cut the grass.
And then their math is funky, right? Because I remember following the ARPA funds for so long, and they said,
that's it right there. Go ahead, I'm listening.
You can't see the blight in the city for all the blight in the way. Yeah. Week after week after week, we were keeping track of the ARPA funds, and at some point they said, it's all gone. There's nothing left. But then they turn around a couple weeks later and they say redistribution redistribution. So they're shuffling the money. And then they come up and say, oh, we're doing revenue replacement for $40 million. $40 million, about half the ARPA funds. But I thought they were out. Where is it going from? Where's it coming from? And then on the back end, so Habitat for Humanity got some money for home repairs, apparently, or at least it was written into one of their ordinances. Yet you call Habitat for Humanity to see about home repairs. They're out of
funds.
Well,
their funds.
That was for other parts.
Oh.
They've run out of applications and they've run out of slots. Like, we're only taking so many. But then they haven't received a disbursement from the city of Flint yet. None of the places where they said they're giving ARPA funds to have received the funds yet. They haven't been released.
That's the mayor holding everything up.
Again. And why? So if we were to take a rational, non-biased approach to this, I would say, trying to give the benefit of the doubt, that it was to make sure all the paperwork was in order and all these organizations had done X, Y, and Z. Non-biased approach.
That's what I was thinking. You should see my eyebrows right now. So they either run out of ink for the printer, but the applications
they said that they were only taking X amount of applications.
Oh, okay. I'm like, they're on paper. It's 2024.
Yeah, dude, trust me, I feel that. What I really feel is going on with the ARPA funds and their allocation and their disbursement is he is holding on to them until each one of the groups that has been told that, has been given an ordinance for money, until each one of them falls in line and either
kiss the ring,
calls support for his congressional campaign, which he has announced that he's trying to do, that he wants to do, or his wife's state rep campaign.
That's the same thing that Tiffany Hinyard got in trouble for.
Yeah, it is. But this is Flint.
All right. Well,
we have city council members that can rate themselves their own personal nonprofit $50,000 and walk away from it scot-free. This is Flint. And I got onto you once on a phone call where you said, this is Flint. And I said, if we want things to change, we can't act like that.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. So mayor's holding on to these funds. I feel that he's using it as leverage to get the endorsements and support and speaking occasions for himself and his wife for their elected positions. And we as a people need to just not show up. And we as a population need to look at this and see these places, and any one of them that does hold a speaking engagement for the mayor or his wife, or does put up their sign randomly at a time, we just need to not go there anymore, whether it be a church, whether it be a community center, and we need to find alternatives. Because at this point, we can no longer afford to allow them to play fast and loose with money that isn't theirs, for one, and then use it as their own personal bribe bank is two.
Right.
If you're going to play ball with this sort of corruption, we are not going to work with you, and we are going to let you flounder and fail.
You hear that, everybody? No nailies. None of them. Neither one of them.
I mean, especially if it's something like the Kennedy Center, where money was supposed to be paid to it, hasn't yet.
The cleaners?
Yeah. Where money was supposed to be sent to it, hasn't yet. Then all of a sudden, if you see a Neely speaking engagement, and you just don't go there anymore.
I don't even know where they are.
Me neither. I mean, Ms. Bed Biggs knows. She used to cook.
I know where the Kennedy. Well, okay, that's right next to Mount Olive.
Yeah, she used to cook there in that kitchen.
Yeah, but the cleaners though.
I think that's just something else that they call it now.
Oh, okay.
But that organization, and if we see them caving into the strong arm of, you must allow this political connection to do X, Y, and Z here, then you just don't go there anymore, and you let it flounder, and you find an alternative. That's my honest opinion on it. Like, we cannot allow this anymore, because the more we cave in and the more we allow this play to happen, the more it's going to continue to happen, and the more blatant it's going to get, and the less we get in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, we already just got we got the runaround. We got played for $92 million. And then before that, with the wind funds, we got played for that. Now, neither of those two large sums of money went to what they were supposed to do. How is paying out all these nonprofits
And
to
the water
clean
settlement money.
and the water settlement money? How are we supposed to? How is it supposed to save America? America Rescue Plan, if it's being paid out to puppet nonprofits?
How much money is that? That's damn near $1 billion, right?
92 million, and then
For ARPA.
For
That's
ARPA,
94.7.
Yeah, 94.7, and then how much was the wind funds? I think it was like 100 and change.
Okay,
but then we also had state and federal funds coming here to the tune of 600 million.
So that's 700 million just between the state and the ARPA. So wind funds was how much?
I think it was a little over 100 mil.
Oh, okay. So that's
almost
a bill. That's 800 some odd billion
not
dollars.
To mention all the
$1 billion.
Not to mention all the small federal grants, all the small state grants, X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
We have literally been danced around close to $1 billion, and not a single cent of it has seen your home. Not a single cent of it has seen your streets.
And they got the nerve to be putting liens on your house for the water bills, for red tagging your hot water heaters, red tagging your furnace, and no type of assistance whatsoever. $800 million, give or take,
into one of the most impoverished cities in America.
There you go. It used to be the pinnacle of the middle class family and the public schools whole layout system. Flint had the blueprint. Going from top of the class and middle class and public school system to now we just a relic of disaster. Like everything is just
disasters of yesteryear. Yeah. I mean, whenever someone around the country talks about Flint and it isn't about the water, it is about how horrible things are here. Oh, I visited my cousin in Flint and all their houses were falling apart. Their roads were crumbling. They don't even have clean water. They don't have grocery stores. They have to go out of town to get those. The Save-A-Lots that they do have,
the meat is damn near spoiled when you get it. The milk is damn near
I walked in there and it was right after, it was about December. They still had a huge old crate of pumpkins from October, and the bottom was just a black slush of rotted biomass. That's our grocery stores in the city of Flint. We still have a food desert here. And we haven't been able to mention that in forever and a day because we've been so focused on just trying to get those ARPA funds to do something for us. And yes, they're trying to build that co-op that was supposed to be open 2 years ago, and then that's supposed to be open January this year. Then they're saying it's gonna be open next year. How much money have they sink into it?
I don't know, but they just asked for some more.
Close to 150 mil.
It's a nice painting on the outside of the building.
And then they had the goal to go to city council and ask for $50,000 in ARPA money for a popcorn popper. Yeah.
What the hell kind of popcorn they gonna be popping?
Probably kind with gold leaf.
I was gonna say it's all what infused popcorn. What are we doing? No, yeah. I'm getting ready to go. I'm gonna give it. He's right up the street. He's right up the street. So
yeah, we'll give it another 4 minutes. That way, it's a 2-minute flat or 2-hour flat. Yeah, it looks prettier. Yeah, it doesn't mess with my ADHD.
Because Mickey ain't here. Mickey ain't here. But no, the thing, that's the reason why. And I'm just gonna say real quick to kind of tie up because I know it was some confusion as to why I was trying to open up the pool up at Northwestern and get the stadium done. That's the reason why, because we need some of the programs that you didn't grow up here in Flint, but I did not. I grew up on. I learned how to swim at Northwestern. I got my lifeguard license at Northwestern. You know what I mean? I played my high school football games at Northwestern. You know what I mean? So we don't have home economics. There's somewhat like something like 110 or 20 different skills that you learn in home ec. We don't have machine. We don't have drafting like we did. We don't have any of that. Wood shop. We don't have none of that. You understand? Like, so if they're giving women $7,500 a year to have a baby, they need some type of skills. The young men who impregnate these young women need some type of skills.
They don't.
We're trying that. No, that's my point in trying to re-implement these things back into the school system. Back into because they don't have these things. They don't have the opportunity to get. It's either go to college or go to the army or go to the streets.
A lot of them choose the streets. I mean, because
most of them choose the streets.
I mean, because they're dropping out of high school because they don't see a point in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't join the military except for the Navy now without at least a good enough diploma.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them don't want to take that because they didn't take high school seriously. Or, I mean, if you're trying to make money, you don't have time to be staring at that book. You're just trying to eat.
Right. And see, that's a lot of these kids, these young men, they have to help their mom bring money in the house. They have to help their mom, even if at 13, 14 years old, they have to help pay bills. So they're not thinking I'm about to go to school and study and go to college and go to the military and, bring back. They're thinking I'm about to go sell this dope. I'm about to go scam. I'm about to go, rob somebody. I'm about to go steal this car, whatever. We got to change the whole mindset. So we need options. We need exposure. That's my reasoning. We need exposure.
When I say I'm no stranger to this, I do mean it. I'm posting a link here in the Facebook side.
My bad. I'm sorry, Trevor. I just spoke to, I'm not going to say his name, but they used to be a senator here. Just spoke to them about the same type of thing, but it wasn't LPNs. It was
CNA.
Not CNA. What do you call the people that jump out the ambulance? I forgot.
Paramedics.
Yeah. EMS. That's what it was about. So coming out of, learning how, EMS training, I know exactly what that, the technical word was, but yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I just posted a link to LA Times archives. It is from 1996. I grew up in a town called Douglas, Arizona. What Douglas, Arizona was most known for is quotes responding to a federal prosecutor's recent characterization of this dusty outpost as seriously corrupt. I know what to look for because I've seen it all my life, and I see it here without even a magnifying glass. It's so blatant and in the open.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrifying to me that we as residents of the city of Flint can live in this and not even bat an eye because we're so used to it. Because if we stand up against it, we are harassed by the police. Our taxes mysteriously somehow, while we still pay, they don't get paid.
My name ended up on my parents. Our rental properties are in a trust. Mm-hmm. My name was put on the trust bill. Mm-hmm. The trust doesn't have water bill. Like my parents don't have bills in the properties, in the trust. Like the bills are in the person, the tenant's name. How did my name end up on the trust?
Yeah, they'll mess with your official paperwork. Just like 2022, you wanted to run for state rep. Somehow that paperwork got lost.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Or, I mean, there's 1,001 different things. Cops just don't show up when those of us that stand up call them.
They try to burn your house down too.
Yeah.
And they throw, yeah. But I got to go.
Yeah, we got to get going, guys.
So you guys, I'll be back at 5. Hopefully Carol's okay. Did I speak to Carol today? I'm trying to figure out, did I speak to Carol today? I don't know, but she sounded pretty sick yesterday. So, we're going to see how it works. Everybody hope that Carol gets better. But I'll be back here at 5. I've got some things that I'd like to share about, well, of course I'm running. So some things that I'd like to share. There's some stuff I've been doing.
Be sure you stretch before you run. Thank you guys for joining us for
Did you hear what he just said?
Thank you guys for joining us for a special Trevor's Rant, a decade of fucked up water.
Yeah, we'll see y'all back at 5, hopefully.